Mike, thanks for coming down all the way from Portland, Maine.
Oh, sure, it's a nice ride.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All of the traffic was heading north, so I was heading south, so that was good.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And you can look at all those suckers on their way back up to Maine.
That's what I was counting on.
And David, thank you for co-hosting for me. And you're watching the smoking section. For anybody who has not seen the show before, Mike. So how long this is this great smoking butt? I guess what would you call it? A receptacle?
This is it's a recycling device, cigarette collection and recycling device for cigarette litter.
Cigarette recycling and collection. Did you say?
Collection, exactly.
Device.
Yeah.
And how many iterations has it had since it started?
Oh, this one.
What generation is that one?
This is the 8th generation.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
8th.
we've changed it. We're a small company, so we change things on the fly.
Is that
As
right?
they go. Absolutely. The first ones I made, well, actually, the first one was made out of 3-inch square metal tubing that my son and I put together on the front yard. And then it's gotten to the point now where they're all aluminum, all able to be recycled. The units themselves, they're warranted for 20 years, and you can recycle everything on the inside.
And are these the ones that we have here in Cambridge?
Yes.
So this iteration, we have this iteration,
Exactly.
this generation.
Yeah. This is a unit. The ones in Cambridge, we've got the Cambridge Works logo on it, and because we're able to customize all the labels for them.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much what they are. They're aluminum. There's generally a lock, looks like this, on the front of these. You put your cigarette in the front of this, and when it's full or whatever, it slides out.
Yes.
Fireproof.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the things that we talked about with the fire departments, that they can't burn.
Which fire departments did you talk to?
Portland Fire Department, and I think we had a letter into the Boston Fire Department. One of our iterations of this years ago was these were all made out of PVC, which does not burn.
It's a form of plastic, isn't
Exactly.
it? PVC, yes.
I forget what it's called. But those will scorch, but they won't burn.
Yes.
Unless they're exposed to an open flame, which you don't usually get in these. So they said, we were doing some stuff with, I think it was Salem and some of the other, Salem, Jamaica Plains, all these other areas. And they asked us if they were UL listed. I said, well, no, why?
What is UL? I don't even...
Underwriter laboratory. Those
Okay.
little things you see on the tags all over the place.
Yes.
Because they were concerned that they would catch fire. I said, well, what if we make them all out of metal? They go, you'll be fine. So now we make them all out of metal.
Right.
It's one of another iteration.
And they'll have like a keyhole in them.
Exactly. All of these, they come standard with a regular master lock. These are all keyed the same, so you don't have to keep looking for keys. That slips in there.
Yes.
That locks up, and that's it. The hasp, the shackle holds the bottom in. So sadly, some of the other ones you see that the plastic units or things like that, those are actually the ones that catch fire.
But I mean, have you ever had one catch fire?
One of our units?
Yes.
No. But they're the ones that look like they look like a 5-gallon pail, and they come up like a.
Oh, those, yes.
Yeah, you've seen those.
They've been around a long time.
They have been. Well, they have to replace them because they catch fire.
Oh, really? I wasn't aware.
No, one thing we've been concerned about is that the city of Cambridge has been putting them on the poles.
U-shaped flange poles.
Right.
But
Yeah.
have you found that they go best on a certain type of?
They
pole?
primarily go best where people are. The beauty of these things is like on the back of these. I'll show you the back of this one. This hole, don't look at that one. But this hole and this hole, when these are
So just those
shipped
two
out,
holes.
right? These correspond with the holes in that U channel you're talking about.
U-shaped flange pole.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that corresponds with that. The outsides of these, a lot of signs, things like that, are banded on they're like a big tie wrap, essentially. You put it through this side, take it out that, and then you can mount it on almost anything.
Yes.
And also, you can take them also, in addition to this, if you want to mount them on a flat surface, like a wall or something like that, you go in through the front, through this hole, put a lag bolt or something like that, do the same with the bottom, and then they sit flush
Right.
against the walls. So they're multi-purpose. The whole thing is to have them out. Back when I was a kid, everybody smoked. In any room in the house, there'd be 2 or 3 ashtrays.
Yes.
We don't have that
Well,
anymore.
my house still has
Yeah,
3 ashtrays
there
in
you
every
go.
room. Okay.
Over the years, since the mid-80s or so, smokers have been broomed outside. So they go outside, they hang out in front of in their doorways or whatever, shelter areas, smoke, and then there's no place to put a cigarette butt. So you put them on the ground.
Right.
Or you put them in the trash can, and then the fire department comes down to put out the fires.
Right.
So that's not.
Although I don't think I've ever seen it in my entire life here in Cambridge, the fire department putting a fire out in a trash can. I mean, I will stipulate that it probably has happened, but I've never seen it.
Don't cigarettes now, they don't catch fires easily, right?
That's a myth. There was that whole thing about them not being able to burn, things like that. It doesn't really matter.
Well, the fire-safe cigarette. It's what's called fire-safe cigarettes.
Yeah. In the years gone by, you used to be able to get an ash, 6 inches long. In a
Oh,
cigarette.
right, yeah.
Yeah, they burn right through. But I'm not. It's more chemicals they put in them to make them smolder at a lesser rate. But again, if you're throwing a butt in the trash, it's,
Reduced ignition propensity cigarettes. So you want to tell us and tell our viewing audience
sure.
how, the genesis of this. This is,
Oh.
Mike is, everybody's talking about small business and, microbreweries
Sure.
and entrepreneurs and men working for themselves.
and women.
That's true, Mike.
That's true.
And here is a perfect example of that, Michael. I mean,
People have called.
has Barack Obama ever called you up on the phone and said, or Donald Trump and said, hey, what can you do for the economic recovery of this country?
No, but I'm of the age. I remember. I didn't hear it live, but I was a kid when John Kennedy gave his big speech.
Yes.
Ask not what you can do for your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Right.
And that resonated very heavily in my it's you have to pull your own weight.
Well, I mean, that's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Nice thing, it's a good thing. It's a good, certainly one gets a much better feeling, I think, about oneself and the world if one is pulling one's own weight.
Oh, without a
and maybe even giving out a little bit.
Exactly. This started in Portland, Maine. I had a coffee shop in Monument Square downtown, and it was
Michael, is there any business that you haven't been in? Go ahead.
yeah, I know. We've done a lot of stuff. That's
Coffee shop in Portland, Maine. Go
Portland, Maine. I'm people say, well, you're an entrepreneur. I said, no, I'm a malcontent. I have a hard time working for other people because I generally think, and sometimes I'm right, that I know a little bit more than they do. But when you tell the boss that, they show you the door. So I start my own places. And,
Okay, now you had a coffee shop in downtown Portland.
Downtown Portland, yeah. I had a coffee shop. I had a push cart. We were talking about a double-decker bus I had years ago. Had a couple of metal finishing shops, powder coating shops, big industrial shops. I sold cars for a while. I was a really, really great teddy bear salesman. I didn't tell you about that one.
No.
I had 180 some odd accounts in Maine, New Hampshire, and
Oh my
Vermont.
gosh.
We sold teddy bears. That was to the like the Hallmarks and things like that. We sold dolls also, F&B dolls, which is another story.
Okay, let's get now. All right, you
Yeah.
had the coffee shop, and
Yeah.
it was in
So,
downtown Portland.
Downtown Portland, about 4 years ago, I got a notice from the city. They walked around and gave notices to all the shop owners that you have to clean up the cigarette butts out in front of your
Yes.
store. Which, we had seating outside, so of course I'm out there every day sweeping up, saying hi to people, things like that. And I got this notice, and I said, that's kind of silly. I mean, I do this anyway. And so, well, what if we didn't have to sweep them up? What if there was a way to collect them? And in Maine, we have a nickel deposit on cans and bottles.
Oh, really? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's a great industry for street people and things
Yes.
like that.
Right. Well, we have the same thing here
Okay.
in Mass too.
Excellent. People make a living out of that. But at a nickel a piece, I said, rather than having people pick up the cigarette butts, why don't we put a deposit on them? And the Maine legislator tried that 10 years ago, but because that's has to do with legislature, they can't move very quickly. So
Yes.
we did it ourselves.
You mean in your what?
In
the
our
city of-
coffee shop.
In your coffee
In
shop.
our- yeah, we
Okay.
we
So
did it
what
all.
did you do? Tell me.
We raised about $300 and some odd from our regulars and things like that. And one of our regulars was a news reporter. And
Yes.
They did an article in the paper on them, and it hit the press on the Monday. On Wednesday, we had 60,000 cigarette butts in front of our store. People had collected bags of them.
Really?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And you paid them a nickel for each butt?
No. We realized very quickly that it's really silly to pay people to do the right thing, and we're not Uncle Sam, so
Right.
we don't have the.
You can't print up your own money.
No, we can't. No, we tried that. It's like this. So we gave everybody $20, and it was about 18, 20 kids there. So we paid them out, and realized that there's got to be a better way to do this.
Yes.
So I went home with my boy, and he's a pretty good metal fabricator. Played around with some stuff, and we built the first one. It was smaller than this, but same idea, out of some square stock.
Yes.
Cap on it. Basically, it looked like a really elongated birdhouse, sort of like this one does. But so we played with that for a while, and discovered that working with metal is really expensive.
Yeah.
So we switched over to PVC, which doesn't burn, and we put 12 of them out the first winter.
And this is in Portland?
In Portland, yeah. All this is in Portland, and we picked up 7 5-gallon pails full of cigarette butts. People would use them. So I said, I think we're onto this.
So you started with how many, did you say?
8 of them.
And when you say we, where did you put them?
Who
is we?
We is me.
And you put them around Portland?
Yeah, Portland, where I thought they'd be handy. I'd kind of look around and see where there's cigarette butts on the ground.
So you affixed them to public poles yourself?
Oh, sure.
Without asking the permission of the city?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I understand that. Most people in the city wouldn't even notice that.
No, they didn't. But then, they became popular, and we had a bunch of them. I said, we're on to something better. So I started pushing a little bit further with them. We hooked up with an outfit called the Natural Resources Council of Maine.
Right.
Big organization, very, very good. And Sarah Lakeman was my contact there. She was instrumental in getting the plastic bag ban in Portland.
Yes.
Really smart. She's terrific. Because I'm a cranky old guy, and I tend to piss people off pretty well if they don't do what I want them to do.
Yes.
She was more of a diplomat than I. So we were able to put 80 of them in the city of Portland.
Right.
Around the town, and then that first year that was a trial basically, and we picked up I think 400,000 cigarette butts that first year.
Yeah.
And I discovered
Portland.
Yeah, I think we're onto something.
And the city paid for the construction?
No. These were all out of our own pocket.
Oh.
Because we had I think 20 of them were sponsored by some local businesses.
Okay.
So
yeah.
we were
So she had to go to these local businesses and charm them.
Yes, Sarah did. She smoothed it over. I'd go out and sell them and things like that. Yeah, she's did a great job. So the first year we had 80 of them out there, 400,000 butts. I said, I think we're onto something. So again, I'm working the 70, 80 hours in the coffee shop also. So we're doing them both, and decided that we should expand this. So we got a website. And started selling more of them. And my wife said, do you want to make falafels? Because we made falafels at the shop, or do you want to make these? And I said, Jesus, honey, that's a good question. So she said, we're okay. Why don't you sell the shop and make butlers do this full time?
Yes.
So I did. My wife is terrific, very supportive, and she believes in this process.
Yeah.
So since then we've been, we're in 20 some odd states now.
I didn't know that. 20 states.
Yeah. Puerto Rico.
You just finished a project for Jamaica Plain in Boston?
Yes. JP's got I think 30 or 40 of them in there. They were all labeled for each individual businesses. Actually, next week I'm going back down to Chelsea for that third order for the neighborhood developers group down there.
Chelsea, Mass.
Yeah. We're in Cambridge, of course.
What's been your experience with the success of the program in different cities as far as the city following up on it and promoting it? I mean, is every place different as far as the level of commitment?
Somewhat. Chelsea's really good. Cambridge, I was walking around today. I see them out there.
They're only in. See, we're not that happy about it.
Oh, really?
In Cambridge.
Yeah, do you? Why is that?
Well,
right or wrong?
From what you've known, your own observations. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, because
I've had no feedback.
Right. You see, well, I mean, when we went to Salem, which is where our colleague and friend Emily Ouija first noticed them, you know, they're around, the city mayor actually took an interest in them. According to them, they are collecting a lot of cigarette butts. Now, my impression is here in Cambridge, they have put them up exclusively on U-shaped flange poles. And the problem with that is that when you put it on a U-shaped flange pole, you don't have any flexibility as to which direction you are facing.
Right.
And, you know, so that they are not in the best places.
You actually have to do that.
When you say you, what do you mean by you?
Whoever's the sponsor or the folks that are.
DPW.
Yeah. If they generally should be about 30 feet apart at the most.
At the most?
At the most.
Wow.
Anything further than that, if you're smoking, again, I smoked for 25 years, so I've seen both sides of this issue.
Yeah.
Anybody who tells you that they save and put them in their pocket, they're lying to you.
Are there very few of those people?
Yeah, very, very few. If generally people in an urban environment are in the same place at the same time during the week, they become, you know, they have habits. They're
like birds. They perch on a certain tree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you're going out to you go to the same lunch on Monday, you go here, Tuesday there, things like that. You go out to have a smoke. You have a place where you smoke, where you know it's safe. You know, you're comfortable there. If there's a butler out there, you're going to use it.
Yes.
And they use it very, very well.
If you're aware of it.
If you're aware of it.
Right.
Generally what we found is as time goes by in areas that have bought in on this, the contents grow exponentially because people use them. Like
Yes.
we could all be standing here, you're having a cigarette, you throw yours on the ground, you and I put ours in the butler. We're going to say to you, hey, why don't you use a butler?
Yes.
You know, it's a peer pressure type thing. And people generally want to do, smokers especially want to do the right thing if given the opportunity. If the opportunity isn't there, they're going to put them on the ground.
But they have to know about it, and it has to be convenient.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. If it's not, then it does. You know, I tell everybody that we offer these to. We have partners all across the country. Rather than putting one here, one on that corner, etc., make a statement.
I see what you mean.
Do a block. And
Wow,
then from
that's
that block,
interesting.
Then you do the next block. Then it grows. It's amazing.
Right. I see.
And this is all.
Of course, you have a conflict of interest there. You want many densely all over, and the more you sell.
Yeah, that's true. But
you're also an honest man.
I make no bones about it. No, that's fine. No,
but that's an interesting idea that you need to really saturate an area. And it's better to saturate
one
a
area.
small area,
Absolutely.
and even if you forget the rest of the city, than to put them up hither and yon.
Exactly.
Which we're not exactly sure where they are.
No, I am sure where they are.
Are they in Harvard Square or
No,
something?
not yet.
Okay.
But they're in Central Square, but they are not very close to one another. They're on the U-shaped flange poles, so sometimes they're facing the street.
Yeah,
Doesn't make any sense.
Nobody's going to use them. Nobody's going to
Right,
use them.
and-
If you go on YouTube,
Yeah.
of all things, when we first started this business, we went to a Maine Civic Hack Day. There's a bunch of smart kids with iPads and stuff.
Civic Hack Day?
Yeah, Hack Day. And it was, again, a lot of smart kids who were a lot smarter than me. We voted on what we were going to do for the thing. They loved the Butler. All the Beavis and Butthead jokes came out and all this other stuff. I was working with a lot of 20-year-olds.
Yes.
That evening...
The future belongs to the young, right?
That's very true. Very true. Wasted on the young sometimes. But anyway, I wish I was young again. We built one, and they put it out as a prototype in front of Gino's bar, rock and roll bar in Portland.
Yeah.
And again, this is on YouTube. Go to YouTube, Gino's Rock and Roll or something like that. And just left it there. Stood back with their little cameras and watched it. And people would come over and use it.
Really?
Without any.
Because it was directly in front of the bar, and it was facing the bar.
Exactly.
And it was just, in your face.
And there was a trash can next to it, but people would use the Butler rather than
Well, the trash can's not, because first of all, where you put it out, and then you worry about the trash can
you're gonna
catching
catch
fire.
Exactly. But I mean, we've got these all across the country, very, very successful. Salem, had a program initially. They had some from another vendor.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
You've got competition.
Oh, well, competition is good, but we're.
Do they look like this?
They're similar to this. They have a hole in the top
You
of them.
remember the man explained to us that they weren't working very well The other
Yeah.
ones weren't working as well.
Yeah, exactly. They're smaller, they have a hole in the top here.
They would freeze, right? They would get ice.
Exactly. These are ours, well, the ones that we're talking about, they're from another company. They have a trap door on the bottom here. And they have
Oh,
a
right,
hole in the top,
right,
and there's
right.
a lock over here. So, rumor has it snows in Maine or in Massachusetts. So these fill up, you got this big slug of ice in here.
Yeah.
Public Works doesn't want to play with them.
No.
Ours are designed, we have a drip edge on the top of this. Our hole is, entrance hole is on
drip
the
edge, you
side.
call it a drip edge,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Let me ask you, Michael.
Yeah. I can talk about this forever. So jump in.
Right. What city do you think has been the best in terms of promotion, follow-up? And there's one thing about putting them out,
Yeah.
and there's
Juneau,
something else
Alaska.
about following up.
Juneau, Alaska called me out of the blue, and they said we're looking for something like this. We read about you, we saw you on the. I said, oh, that's terrific. We had 80% of our calls are inbound calls because we get referrals and people look for something good. Cities will talk about them, and we generally do. We have a nice reputation.
Yes.
Juneau said, "Are they weatherproof?" I said, "For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
If you have horizontal rain, no, I can't help you. Other than that, yes."
Yeah.
They said,
Hurricane Irma's not. They're going to have trouble with
exactly.
hurricane.
And they said, "Are they bear proof?"
Interesting.
That's a really good question.
Well, do bears go after tobacco?
Well, that was my next question. Ours are bomb proof. One of the problems with a lot of these is that these get harvested.
Yes, no, I've heard that.
This is like
It's
a honey hive for these. They break them open, they pull them out, not these of course, but the other ones, the plastic ones, they break them open, they litter on the ground, they pull the long ones out
Yeah.
and walk away. We don't have an issue with these. Juneau has reordered 3 times.
Okay.
Their stuff. And
So I don't know. Salem seems to be good, but I called John Fitzgerald. I think his name is John Fitzgerald.
Mike, yeah, it's one of the 2. Yeah, it is John, you're right. Yeah.
And I said, John, I would like to participate. I'd like to help in any way I can. And he was, you can understand, he's got his job to do, and he doesn't want a bunch of Cambridge residents telling him how to do his job, etc.
Yeah.
And getting in the way, but the thing is, we're just not happy because we don't think they're getting the kind of publicity. I don't see them saturating an area. Again, they're on the U-shaped flange poles, meaning that they don't even face the sidewalk sometimes.
Well, have you participated in like promotional videos that have gone onto the city websites, for example?
We have not. Salem did a great one. Unbeknownst to me.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Yeah,
we've seen that one's
terrific.
great.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
We've made a few ourselves here at
Have you?
CCTV.
Okay. Excellent. I'm a computer illiterate, so literally my notepad is a spiral bound, so I'm not real good at that. But there really has to be the buy-in from the organization. This one is.
You mean the buy-in from the organization, in which
Yeah.
case, in this case, you mean a city.
The city, this is a privately held, this is a Broomsman, they're out in Bend, Oregon.
Yeah.
A gentleman up there has our recycling business, he loves our product.
Yeah.
He's gonna be putting them all over Oregon.
All over the whole state.
All over the whole, absolutely,
Wow,
absolutely.
interesting. We need, we've got, go ahead, David.
What about the getting like local business sponsorship? Is that what about?
Terrific. JP did that. They bought, I think, 50 of them or so. 33 businesses sponsored them.
Is that
So
right?
we
Really?
did the labels on the side, and they had the mayor's message on there. What's it? Boeing Toy Store, Caldwell Banker, all these other places had them because we're able we build
But
all this in-house.
you don't approach local businesses, do you? You approach cities, and it's up to the city to approach local businesses.
City, we look for. I was just down in Orlando a couple of weeks ago at a public works show, big international public works trade show, and we've got 90 or 100 more cities that we're working with now that
Oh my gosh.
bringing these in, because it's a problem. Cigarette litter. Again, I smoked for 25 years. I don't really care if you smoke one way. It doesn't matter.
I noticed you like my secondhand smoke.
I do, yeah.
I have to
it's
pay
not-
for the cigarettes. You get the secondhand smoke.
That's true. But we don't care if you smoke, you don't smoke.
Right.
We just don't want you to litter.
Right.
Because
No,
every one of those
right.
cigarettes is gonna, at least in here, I think it'll wind up in the Charles, that's the local river, right?
Right.
They
Yeah.
all find their way to the water.
Mm-hmm.
And our focus is, it's all about clean water.
Yes.
And again, you know, if you smoke, that's, you know, as long as the state and the feds, it's a legal product, they get taxed on it the whole bit,
Massachusetts makes close to $1 billion a year in tobacco taxes.
they're not gonna shortchange themselves, absolutely. But there has to be, last year, we introduced legislation in Maine in order to get butlers or a program like this
Yes.
throughout the state.
Wow, that's interesting, very interesting.
It'll go next year, I think.
Well, I'm not, really in favor of the nanny state, but I do have to admit there are certain things that I see, the state intervening in that it's appeared to me to be like a good idea. Like, for example, the plastic bag ban in Cambridge. People would go to the store and get a plastic bag, and then they walk home
They throw it away.
3 yards. I mean, not a quarter of a mile. And then they come back the next day, another plastic bag.
Absolutely.
They're in the garbage. They're here. They're there.
Yeah,
And we don't really have a ban. It's you got to pay 10 cents, and all of a sudden everyone's changed.
sure.
Michael, just the last question: how many people you have working for you?
2.
Only 2.
Yeah,
They must be working pretty hard. Listen, thanks
Really
for coming on the
appreciate
show.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for
having us.
watching.
Absolutely.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.